Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another meal prep / batch cooking video. So in this video, it's just simple, easy peasy meals. Nothing fancy about this meal prep at all. It's just a smaller meal prep. And again, these recipes really can't get much easier, and the recipes that your entire family is going to love. This video is hopefully going to give you guys some inspiration and motivation to get up and meal prep for yourself and your family, no matter how big or small your family is. Let's get started. All right, so we are going to start off with making some of these Tarantino sausages. These are the breakfast sausages, and this is the first time I've ever tried them. They are really good. I'm just going to cook them like I did the Tarantino Polish sausages. I'm just going to cook them right in my air fryer, and it did a wonderful job. But then again, it's the air fryer. I think it does a wonderful job on everything that I make in there. So I'm just going to cook them for 6 minutes on the first side, and then I did put them back in for about another minute on the second side, and they came out perfectly. Next up, we're going to be making some keto pancakes. These are delicious. If you guys watched my vlog video about a week ago, I made these in that video as well, and they are so good. That was the first time I had ever had them, but I added in there 1 cup of almond flour because I am doubling the batch, 4 tablespoons of coconut flour, 1 tablespoon of erythritol. I should have added 2, but I just left it at 1. 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 3 medium eggs, even though it should have been 6 because I'm doubling the batch. And you'll see I go back in and have to add more because I forgot I was doubling the batch in the middle of it. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then we're going to add 4 tablespoons of cream cheese. And I did the same thing with the cream cheese. I had to add it again later. But I will have this recipe in the description box below, so that way you can just go down there, click the link to this recipe, and you will find all of the exact ingredients and the directions there. So because I doubled the batch, there is going to be 4 servings with these pancakes, and that is kind of what they look like when they are finished. And again, you just want to kind of look for kind of the traditional little bubbles on the top before you flip them. My daughter even liked these, and she's a little bit pickier when it comes to certain keto breakfasts, when it comes to almond flours and stuff like that. But these are really good. Add your toppings, and again, I hope you guys enjoy these. Next up, we are going to be making some boiled eggs. I put 10 eggs in my Instant Pot. Make sure it's on sealing. I just press my egg button option on there, and then I let them cook for about 4 minutes, and then I get an ice bath ready because I do let them set in an ice bath after they are finished for around 5 minutes, and then they peel like a dream. 4 of those I just left in the refrigerator so that way everybody could just grab and go a little snack if they needed to. And then the other 6, I made Scotch eggs with them. And update on the egg situation, I have found eggs since the last time, and I'm so thankful because we love eggs in my house. We could go through about 60 eggs in 2 weeks. But with the Scotch eggs, I am going to make 6 of them. So the sausage there that I'm using, I'm just going to separate that into 6. And then you basically just wrap the sausage meat around the egg and then season them with your choice of seasonings. It doesn't even matter what kind of seasoning. Then you're going to bake them at 400 degrees for around 20 minutes. And that is what they should look like when they come out, just kind of a little bit of a golden brown. And if they do split open, like you'll see right there, it's not a big deal because they're all going to the same place anyway. But these are a delicious, fulfilling, protein-packed breakfast. Next up, I'm going to be preparing some taco meat for taco salads or tacos or whatever during the week. Those are the ingredients that I'm going to use. And I already prepared my ground beef. That's about 2 pounds of ground beef. And all of the seasonings that I just showed you, I pretty much put in around a tablespoon to a heaping tablespoon for some of them. except for the pepper. The pepper I only put in there around a half a teaspoon, and then I just stir that up. I did add a little bit of liquid just because it was a little bit dry, but that is the finished product. We love us some taco salad, delicious. Then next up, I'm going to make some ranch dressing so we can have it for salads during the week. And I will have the recipe to this down in the description box below. I did have to substitute a couple of items because we were out of it. So I did substitute basil for parsley and then onion flakes for onion powder because I didn't have any. And it still turned out great in my opinion, but I will have the recipe to this in the description box below. And again, it'll be linked. You can just click on that link and find everything you need to know. But this is going to take 1 cup of mayonnaise, a half a cup of sour cream, some dried parsley. Like I said, I did use basil, as well as some chives, garlic powder, and then again, it says onion powder, but I used onion flakes. We're going to put in there a little bit of salt, and then of course a little bit of pepper. We are also going to put in there 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, as well as around 1/4 a cup of almond milk. You can add more almond milk if the dressing is a little bit too thick for you. We like it just the way it is, so we left it alone. And that is the finished product. This dressing is my favorite dressing. When I make dressings, it's either this or I do have a Caesar dressing that I like as well. But I just throw it in a container and we put it in the fridge and it's good to go. Next up, I went to the ranch market and stocked up on all this chicken legs. This is boneless, skinless chicken legs. Amazing deal they were having. So I picked that up. I mean, cheap prices. I got 2 meals out of each package. Remember, I have a large family, so that's why it seems like a lot for, just 2 meals. But I also got an amazing deal on that roast. So I picked that up as well because I couldn't pass it up because that could be 3 dinners right there for $15. Could not pass it up. So all I did is I separated all of that meat into their own little packages, and that way I could just freeze them for a later date. Again, I got 2 meals out of each one of those chickens, so that's 6 meals, and then I got 3 meals out of that because that roast, one of those will last us 1 meal. So amazing prices I got that day. So I like to fold the top of the Ziploc bag down so that way I don't touch the outside of the bag with my gooey, icky hands. And then once I get it in there, I make sure all the air is out, seal it up nicely, and then I date the bag, even though I don't even know why I do that because we eat it so fast that I'm going to use it before it's going to go bad anyway. And I just do the same exact thing with the chicken. And once I'm done, like I said, I stack it nicely in the fridge and we are good to go. But you can't, anytime you see a price like that for chicken or meat or anything, stock up because food is getting expensive, especially proteins. Next up, I am going to be making some cheesy zucchini. I used 4 zucchinis. You don't have to use that many, but I just cut them up into small little bite-sized pieces just like that. And then I do steam mine just a little bit, even though this time I steamed them a little bit too long. They were a little bit too soft, but you know what? That is okay. We still liked it. It was still delicious and we still ate it. But I really like to steam it just until it's just not hard anymore, basically. In that bowl, I just added 1 cup of cheese. I did add around a half of a teaspoon of pepper, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder. I did go ahead and add a teaspoon of ground mustard. And then I also added a teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt. And then I added 1/4 a cup of almond milk. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't add the almond milk. If you do, just add maybe a couple tablespoons. And then 1/4 a cup of heavy whipping cream. And I feel like it was a little bit too runny. So I probably wouldn't do that. Maybe a little more with heavy whipping cream, and then I would add more seasonings because it needed more seasonings. So I baked that at 400 degrees for around 15-20 minutes, just until the top is melted and golden brown. Either way, it was still delicious, but I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bland. When I took it out and I was eating it for dinners or whatever, I added a little more seasonings just to give you guys a heads up. And again, if you don't want it that runny, definitely don't put in the almond milk, or just a little bit. Next up, I'm going to be making cheese stuffed meatloaf. Delicious, you guys. So in that bowl is 2 pounds of ground beef. I did add some garlic powder, onion powder, pepper. I'm also going to add in just a little bit of Himalayan salt. I added in around a tablespoon of Himalayan salt, and then I did put in some of that Tony's seasoning. Again, that stuff makes everything good. And then I added in around a half a cup of almond flour, a little bit of heavy whipping cream, only 1 egg, even though I wanted to add 2, but at the time I was trying to work sparingly with my eggs. And then I just went in with my handy dandy hands, kind of turned it into a loaf, and then I flattened it out because, like I said, we were going to stuff this with cheese. And you can add other things to this as well, onions, green peppers, whatever you want as far as the meatloaf. And then I like to add that queso fresco cheese. That stuff is so good, and it doesn't really melt, so it doesn't all melt out of your meatloaf. So I personally like that. And I just close up the meatloaf the best that I can. I try to do it with my hands, and then I tried to go in with the foil and just really press everything together, even though it didn't work, because as you'll see here in a little bit, it did come apart. So that was a total fail on my behalf, but that's okay. It was still delicious. So I am just going to put the meatloaf on a pan there, and then I bake it at 400 degrees. I don't cover it or anything. I just let it do its thing, but as you can see, it did split open, and it doesn't really look as appetizing as what it tasted. Let me tell you, it was delicious though. As you can see, the cheese didn't melt all over the place, so I think that that is perfect. I probably could have put even more cheese in there, honestly. It was so good. Also, if you guys like fried cheese, that cheese is perfect for frying. All right, so that concludes this week's meal prep / batch cooking. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys found some simple, easy peasy, different ideas for the week ahead or weeks coming to, make different dishes for yourself and your family. Remember, keto doesn't have to be boring. We can have almost whatever the heck we want when it comes to keto. Just gotta find the right recipe for it and cook your little heart out. So don't forget to tag me on Instagram. I'll leave my Instagram down in the description box below if you make any of these dishes, or tag me and just let me know what you're making. I love to hear what you guys are making, and I love it when you guys give me ideas, because that helps me out in the kitchen as well. Prayers for you, your family, and your country in this disaster that we are in right now. I am thinking of every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate every single one of you guys. And don't forget to go out there and make today even better than yesterday. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye. On my own, but I don't know why you hit the road, but you don't realize I'm on the back when you're around.